And if you're a longtime Indy fan, as I am, I had a chance to sit down with some legends of racing, names like Andretti, Unser, and Rutherford. Let's take a look. It's been maybe just a few years since Little Al and Mario Andretti were out on the same track together, and you're here at the race. You will actually be in race control, and what will you be doing?
My job mainly is to help Brian Barnhart, the chief steward, call the race. In other words, yellows, any penalties, how severe should the penalty be, and that sort of thing. So
that's interesting. That's a very different role for you to play. Usually you're the guy in the car saying, please, no yellow, no yellow.
That is correct. And don't get me when I'm penalized and so on. But actually, it really helps Brian because I can see something that's possibly coming that I can give him a heads up on according to the way the driver is driving the car and that sort of thing. So it gives him an insight on what the driver's thinking out there. So
you know, I've talked to a lot of the drivers today, and we were talking about the fact that during this race, especially this year, all of the Indy drivers have come back together with the merge, and now you've got, you know, really young drivers driving against veterans. What is that like from the driving perspective? You know all about that.
It's okay. It's another challenge of the race that is put in front of you, and so excuse me, you can have rookie drivers showing up, which is a very good thing for the series as a whole, and so you get to learn what their moves are, that sort of thing, where their mind is, and so it puts in another element of what that particular race is going to, how it's going to unfold.
Do you think that the drivers today have more an advantage because they've been driving so long versus when you drove?
Anytime that you have experience in a race car, it's better. And so that's why that when I was a rookie and coming up, the old guard, A.J. Foyt, my dad, Mario, Johnny Rutherford, that's why they were in the business so long, is because they had the experience. And so it's the same way today. Even though we have the laptops and we have the computers to get all the information from the car, you still need a great deal amount of experience to really run up front and be a champion. And so it's all good. So
when you were driving, I mean, you were a very special driver. You won a lot of races. Do you look at any of the guys out there today and see something that kind of reminds you of the way you used to drive?
Yeah, there's quite a few of them, actually. You know, Scott Dixon, I've watched him really mature and become a champion, and Dario the same way. You know, they were rookies, you know, when I was still racing, and I've watched them grow and become true champions. You know, Tony Kanaan's another one. You know, and so it's good to see how they mature and which ones do and which ones don't. And really, it's all about the ones that do have continuity with their teams. You know, they're there for many years, and you can really see it.
Seems like for most racing people, you want to be involved in racing, doing something, even if you're not driving the car.
That's for sure. Anything in racing, you know, once you get the bug as bad as I have, you know, it's you know, anything to do with racing. And truly, now I'm really blessed with the job that I have now, because I get to help everyone. I can walk in Roger Penske's trailer. I can walk into Chip Ganassi's trailer. I can walk into Eric Batchelart's trailer. You know, it's across the board really on how I can help, and so it's a true blessing.
Now, are you at every race now on the circuit?
Yeah, I go to every race on the circuit, and then also, you know, I'll show up at tests when there's a rookie wanting to drive Indy cars. I'm called in to help that rookie and really advise the IRL if we should go ahead and give him a license or not.
Well, perfect job for the King of Long Beach. You will always be forever the King of Long Beach, Little Al. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I have to just tell you, it's an honor to meet you, because when I was growing up watching Indy cars, you were actually in them driving, so it's a great honor. Now, you will be in the pace car for the race on Sunday.
Yes, I do that at all of the IRL races, and I enjoy it. I still get to lead a few races that way.
You can't beat that.
No, that's right. And it keeps me up close with the action and what's going on, and I enjoy that.
I'm sure racing has changed so much over the years. Do you ever see drivers out there that kind of remind you of the way you drove when you were out there?
Well, yes, most of them they run very hard, and it's that's the way you do it. When you finally get the hang of it and you get enough experience and you can judge what the car is going to do and what somebody else might do, then you have a chance to really excel and push.
Now, did you ever drive at this track? Or I know you drove down in Monterey for many years.
I did. Right. We raced here back in the early 70s, in fact in 1970, 71, and I finished 5th here, I think. Oh. And that was when it was in the original form. Bruton Smith has done a tremendous job here redoing the racetrack and changing things and moving a lot of earth, but it's a good racetrack.
Al was saying that you guys have an opportunity to be with some of these young drivers, and what kind of advice do you give them when you meet with them or talk to them?
Well, you could sit and talk to them for hours relating things that you've experienced and things that you've done, but that's what they've got to do. They've got to develop their own repertoire. And so what I do is when somebody new comes in, we evaluate them ourselves, and then we watch them to see that they didn't bring any bad habits with them. Blocking is one of the things in road racing that a lot of young drivers develop, and then we've got to get them to leave that alone, and just to see what's going on, and if they have any questions or we see them doing anything that we think might get them in trouble, just to notify them about that. But like I say, those of us that have been in it for a long time could talk for hours about what they're going to experience, but it's for them to learn.
Now that the merge is complete and IndyCar is back together, it seems like there are a lot of rookies coming in with the veterans, and I've talked to some of the veterans versus the rookies, and it's interesting to me that they're so welcoming on the new people coming into IndyCar as well, because they want it to be the most competitive as they can.
Well, yes, and that's it was a struggle, and we all knew that it wasn't the right thing to do with the split. And finally, when it did come back together, then obviously we had to mend a lot of fences and patch a lot of wounds and get things together and get both sides on the same page and using the same rule and everything working in unison. Well, that's happened. And now with the IZOD sponsorship and the things that are happening in IndyCar racing, it's really exciting because it's on the upswing again.
You were a guy who was pretty much always at the front of the race. What kind of advice can you give guys that are sort of in the middle trying to climb up?
Have fun.
Yeah?
I think that's the big thing about this business. It can get pretty serious sometimes, and it can be downright dangerous at times as well. So the thing is, take what you get and learn from it, and then you move on up the ladder and get a better ride or do better with your car as far as relations to the crew and the engineer that you have to make it better for you. So it's just I always tell guys just before the start of the race when I see them, have fun.
Al and I were just saying that you might be able to take the driver out of the car, but you guys love coming back here and participating in all the IndyCar events. Can't take the racer out of racing.
No, you really can't, and it's a sickness,
Great,
but it's a passion, and I feel for people that I see that don't have a passion for what they're doing, because it's no fun.
Well, being with Johnny Rutherford is a lot of fun, and he will be here all race weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a real honor to meet you.
My pleasure.
Thanks a lot.